from the Pennsylvania area. It's where Congressman Mike Kelly lives when he's not in Washington, D.C. He joins us on the program now. Congressman, thank you for your time, sir.
Oh, Cam, thanks so much, and thanks for everything y'all do.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm glad you could join us today. And, there's all this talk of divisiveness and log jams and gridlock in Washington, D.C., and that's certainly true in a lot of areas, but it is nice to see broad bipartisan support for some measures. And I understand that you were one of the sponsors, along with Representative Betty McCollum, of an amendment that is aimed at going after Asian carp, a very invasive species.
Yeah, exactly. Talked to Mrs. McCollum before, and in this session, I actually get to chair the Northeast and Midwest Caucus, and of course, the Great Lakes are a big part of that. One of our concerns has been for a couple of years now is this Asian carp and its advancement as it makes its way up into the Great Lakes, but it happens in such a way that the Ohio River basin is threatened, the upper Mississippi River is threatened, and Cam, we know that if that fish continues on the path that it's on, we're talking about the devastation of the commercial fishing business. A $7 billion industry gets devastated. Our sportsmen and our recreational boaters really come under the same type of pressure because, as you know, if anybody has not seen this clip, go on I think it's on YouTube, and look under Asian carp. You'll see a fish that when the surface of the water is disturbed, this is a fish that actually comes out of the water. It's very aggressive. It doesn't have to be a motorboat, by the way. It can be people paddling along in a canoe. This is a fish. I want people to just vision, and in their mind's eye, picture this. This is a fish that can grow to 70 to 100 pounds. It launches itself actually right out of the water, and it comes in some cases, right into the boats. So in addition to devastating the fishing industry, it has this effect on any of our sportsmen and our recreational boaters that you look at this and say, my goodness, isn't it amazing that in a town where so often there's no agreement, this is one that everybody agrees they got to stop this fish from making its way up through the Ohio River Basin in the upper Mississippi and getting into our Great Lakes and destroying the fishing as we know it today. And here's the problem with a lot of this. People say, so why would you be so concerned? What does this fish do? Well, what this fish does, it eats all the other vegetation that other fish need. It doesn't go after fish per se, but it does go after everything else, the food sources. So, and it started off, for those folks, I tell people, if you have a little fish tank at home and you used to clean the algae off the side of it, a lot of us went then to our pet store and we bought algae eaters.
Right.
These are algae eaters. That's the way they started off. They were actually cultivating them in ponds. There was a heavy spring rains, flooding. The fish got out into the regular rivers and waterways, and it's continued now. It breeds very quickly, it multiplies quickly, and it's moving very quickly, and it will absolutely devastate something that we all hold near and dear to us. And so my hat's off to Ms. McCollum and our colleagues. Chairman Bill Schuster did a wonderful job in transportation, bringing up this in the word of piece of legislation we did this week. The Senate has been on top of it. It passed in the Senate 95-0 in their word legislation. So as we go to conference, we think that this piece of legislation, this amendment, and here's what it does, Cam. It allows states, the local agencies, everybody to work together with the feds to come up kind of an across-the-board think tank of how you're going to stop this fish. It does have some commercial value, but not enough yet. And it, as I said earlier, it multiplies so fast and is moving so quickly that we've got to work on it now and get it stopped.
All right. Well, listen, if this measure passed the Senate 95-0, passed the House 417-3, and you and your colleagues can't get something done on it, then I'm throwing up my hands. I'm giving up, Congressman.
Don't do it, buddy. Listen, we've talked about a lot of different things. We're still fighting every day on the UNATT. This one we won on the other day. The loser in this is the Asian carp, not the American people. So let's just say we had a common enemy. We were able to agree on something that really has great effects down the road of safeguarding our sportsmen, our recreational boaters, and our commercial fishing boats.
Absolutely. And, speaking of the UN Arms Trade Treaty, we have seen several of your colleagues in the Senate, 4 Democrats, I believe, since we talked with you, have also told the president, we don't plan on supporting the UN Arms Trade Treaty. We can't support it as it's written. We don't think there's the support in the Senate or in Congress for this. Tell the United Nations it's not going anywhere. So, again, more and more of your colleagues are responding to this.
And if I could, Kim, I want to shout out to you and the NRA for what you're doing. A lot of this would never happen. We all know this. The creaking wheel gets the grease. The more that we speak up, as American people now I'm talking about, and we voice our opposition to things, and we call those people who we've sent to represent us and let them know that, you know what, we're watching this. Don't think this has gone by the wayside and we don't know exactly what's happening. The NRA's participation, their ability to get people out and get them activated is absolutely critical. Now, Kerry already signed the agreement, and we're so hell-bent all the time to do things that, we're going to do things for the general good, for the general welfare. I got to tell you something. This piece, that's UNATT, is going to affect the sovereignty we have over our own gun trade policies. We can't let this happen, and because of you, in the NRA and our listeners, we can stop this thing in its tracks. They've already signed it, but you know what? It hasn't been ratified in the Senate. And we start to get some of our colleagues paying attention to phone calls and letters, and that's what we need to do. All of a sudden, things start to fall in place. Treaty's been signed by Secretary Kerry. Has not gotten through the Senate. I do not see the Senate ratifying this, but keep in mind, and we've talked about this before, this thing is worse than toxic waste. It'll never go away. Once it's signed, and it has been signed, it'll linger. It'll be laying somewhere. And sometime in the future, somebody will pick that up, and when we're not looking, that will get put through the Senate, it'll get ratified, and then it'll come to Congress, and we'll have a battle then. We won't appropriate any money for it, but you know what? My feeling is that early detection is the key to everything in your life, whether it's an illness or a problem you have. Early detection keeps it from growing bigger. This is an issue that's still on the table. We have to stay very alert in this, Cam, and thank you for what you've done. You've alerted the nation, and so we're making headway with it. But thank you so much for what you do and what the NRA is doing.
Well, listen, Congressman, I really appreciate that, and I always enjoy talking to you. I hope you have a great weekend. You going to be back in the district?
Yeah, I'm back in Western Pennsylvania right now, getting ready to celebrate my granddaughter's first birthday. But it's beautiful back here now, and I can remember the times I was growing up. I mean, as we got towards the fall, you see it's so exciting. Small game season was coming in, and then everybody looked towards Thanksgiving's coming. And my gosh, that first weekend in December, we're going to have antlered deer. I mean, your heart used to start pumping, and you used to get butterflies. And say, boy, I can't wait to get out in the woods. I can't wait to get out and just enjoy nature and all of these wonderful things that everybody that came before us has provided for it. My goodness, what a great country to live in, and what a great time of the year to be celebrating nature and our ability as Americans to do the things that we love to do.
Yes, indeed. Well, happy birthday to your grandbaby, Congressman. Thank you for joining us,
Tim.
and look forward to talking to you again very soon.
Thanks so much.
You
Thanks
bet.
so much.